Hey Jim, Ted Johnson here. I was thinking about our discussion and sending you said you wanted me to send you one of my best websites and give you an example of some of our work. And to be very honest, I'm pretty proud of everything we've done. And the reason I'm recording this video, and you can sure go in and look at all the sites I'm going to show you, is that when I put together a site for someone, I put together the components that we've developed for maybe different types of or different businesses and guides and outfitters that we've worked with to come up with really kind of a custom site for their specific business that fits them and what they're trying to portray on the internet. And so I'm going to go through here and I'll show you some different screens and that sort of thing. Again, you're sure welcome to go to any of these sites that I'm bringing up. You can take a look at, the diversity in each one, but I'm just going to hit some of the highlights. But before we get into the sites themselves, when you're developing a website for a business, you want to develop it for people that are looking for that specific type of business. And you and I sort of talked about this a little bit today, in that we want to conform the website to what people are looking for. And so I went in and I did some keyword research on Arkansas duck hunting, and it came up with about 200 and some keywords that people type in that are relevant to Arkansas duck hunting. And I whittled this down to about 20 of them that I feel are the most important ones that you need to focus your website on. And as you can see, here are the keywords here: Arkansas duck hunting guides, Arkansas duck hunting lodges. These are what people type into Google. This volume off to the right-hand side gives you an idea of how many times people search this specific keyword on a monthly basis. So you've got 390 people every month typing in Arkansas duck hunting guides, and they're looking for somebody that does something like what you do. Now this column, which is the CPC, which stands for cost per click, is if you were buying your internet traffic. And I'm not necessarily a person that recommends you buy a whole lot of traffic, because I think the sites can get them organically on their own. But you have some of your competitors out there that are paying up to $3.16 per click of when people are searching for Arkansas duck hunting guides. Now, not every person that advertises gets 390 clicks. In fact, they're lucky probably to get 40 or 50 clicks off of that. But there's a lot of competition because of the cost per click, or we can see the cost per click, and there's a lot of competition for that particular keyword. So looking through here, the first thing that I do is I say, okay, what are really the top keywords that we really want to maybe focus on? And those keywords I determined should have the word lodge in them. And there are 3 different keywords within this group of keywords that has the word lodge. One is Arkansas duck hunting lodges. Another one is Stuttgart, Arkansas duck hunting lodges. Now, you and I talked about Stuttgart, and you're not necessarily part of that hunting community there, but there is traffic there. And by setting up a website that focuses in on Arkansas duck hunting lodges, you will end up picking up people that are typing in Stuttgart just before that. So there's a significant number of people that are typing that in, and so I felt that was important. And then duck hunting lodges, Arkansas. And so if you combine those 3, you've got 200 people per month that are typing in looking for a lodge in Arkansas. And obviously that whittles down then the people maybe just looking for, where do I hunt on public lands and that sort of thing, and it zooms the attention of those only that are looking for lodges if we focused it on these keywords. Now I'm going to scroll down here a little bit, and then the next set of keywords that I wanted to focus on is the ones in green. And the ones in green have the word guides, or it has the word outfitters in them, and the cost of those clicks are fairly low compared to some. As you can see up here, if you can believe it, some of your competitors are paying $9.21 for the keyword Arkansas duck hunting guides and outfitters. I'd never pay that because there's plenty of other keywords out there that have less traffic than that. And so our focus needs to be then, and of course I'm not recommending that we buy advertising. I'm just using the data to determine what's sort of the low-hanging fruit out there. And so after we focus on the lodges, then we should have the site also focused on hunting guides or hunting outfitters. And we can pick up, 70, 110, 130, about 160 people per month searching there. And then if I scroll down just a little bit further, in red are the third level of keywords that I wanted to go and look for. And they cost a little bit more, so there's more competition, right? But still, there's enough traffic there to warrant some effort on the website focused on these keywords. And so it's about 100 searches per month. If we get the initial keywords, the lodges, and then the guides and the outfitters, and then these last little stragglers, we'll actually end up, I would be fairly certain to say that we'll end up with some pretty good rankings on every single one of these if we're doing it right. And so I hope you appreciate this. This is more of a strategic approach in looking at what do we want the website to do. And we want to have a goal for the website of obviously getting traffic, and what kind of traffic do we want is what I'm focused on. So after I do this, now I have an idea of how I would want to set up the site to focus in on the strategic objective. So now I'm going to go back over and into Chrome and look at some of the sites that we've done for different people across the country. I've done over 100 sites for lodges and guides and outfitters all over the United States and all over the world, Greenland and Argentina and Australia, here in Southeast Asia. So I've got a lot of people that we have worked with over the past, and we again combine the different functionalities with what we've developed in developing out kind of a custom site for you. So this is Kinsey Guide Service. They're not only a guide, but they're an outfitter. They hunt a lot of bear and turkey and now hog and deer and that sort of thing. We started with them about a year ago. Brian was an executive for the Target Corporation, one of the high-end guys, and he had a revelation in life going, I really don't want to do this. I don't want to dress up in, $2,000 suits and fly around the country. He wanted to guide. He loved the woods, and so he moved back to Redding, California, started his service there, and we helped him out with his website. So if I go down through this homepage is set up a little differently than most. In that we're promoting a great big logo. He's very proud of that logo, and says so that's what we wanted to start with. We have a slider off to the left-hand side. They catch a lot of what they call sundial rainbows there, and we wanted to show a lot of rainbows with people smiling because that's what grabs people's attention. So if I scroll down on the site then a little bit, as you can see, we start listing the rivers that he fishes. This is actually a video that we produced for him, and that becomes part of the package. We generally will do a number of videos for our sites, and those videos are then placed in YouTube, and they're focused also on these keywords that we've developed. If we scroll down, we did some graphics work for him for the sundial rainbows. There's a picture of his clan, and then some text and other information down below, a Google map, and then just more information as we scroll on through. Websites and web developers make a huge mistake by not putting enough information on the home page. If you don't have at least 300 words, of information on your home page, Google is never going to find it and index it. And so that's why we make our home pages rather robust. Now I'm going to come up here and I'm going to go to his guide section. He's got 3 guides himself and then his 2 sons. I'm going to go to what they call him Big Brian. He has a little Brian also who's a guide. It's his son. And I'm going to click here, and as you can see here in a second, it will go to his guide page. Now this is running a little slow because I'm recording it also, so my computer's kind of flying back and forth trying to regurgitate all the information. This site runs a lot faster than what it's showing you right here. So we took Brian's picture with a great big king, information about him off to the side, and then we scroll on down, and we'll come down here to his calendar. And now, we were sort of talking a little bit on the phone about showing calendars and that sort of thing. This is a calendar where we don't show who he's guiding, but it shows a calendar of when he's available. And so the dark green is the days he's completely booked. The light greens are the days he has open. Black are when he's turkey hunting, and then there's bear hunting in there also throughout the different seasons. And so I don't know if that's appropriate for the guide that you have hired, or maybe even yourself, but we can show an availability calendar when people go to the website to determine, maybe when they might want to book a trip with you. I'm going to go to another page. This is a lodge that we did up in the Yukon in Canada. It's called Grizzly Creek Lodge. I'm going to do a refresh on this because there's something in particular I want to show you as we scroll through this site. On the site, and with the pictures that we get from our clients, we can create these what they call collage videos. Again, he has some affiliation with Alcon Air because he's a fly-in lodge, a Google map that's associated with it, and that sort of thing. So again, it's kind of a different look, and it's sort of set up like the Kinsey site a little bit, but it gives you an idea of what we can do in regards to kind of a different look on this. Grizzly Creek's pop-up that has come up, and we can put a pop-up on a specific page. We can put different pop-ups depending on the page that somebody's on. On your particular site, this may be a great way to send somebody a brochure. Hey, if you would like a brochure of Jim Watson Outdoors, fill in your information here. Remember, as we were talking, we're trying to give people a reason to give you their name and their email address so we can stay in touch with them. And so this is not static. We'll change this out per season or every month if people want, and we can illustrate different things such as, we're booking up fast for 2018. We still have some dates available open, in late September to duck hunt in Arkansas. Please give us your name and your email address, and we will email you the details. We come up with reasons for people to give us their name and their email, so now we can stay in touch with them. And so you'll see throughout some of these other sites that I'll show you that there are these pop-ups that come up here that we then have manage the contact list of people wanting more information. I'm going to go sort of over by your end of the neck of the woods here. This is a large charter boat that we did a site for in Chesapeake Bay. It's called Never Enough. Never Enough is fairly unique in that they primarily cater to corporations, and they have different fishing events that they hold on their boat, and they do it for client appreciations, team building, and that sort of thing. And so we gave this site a little different look. If I scroll on down here, as you can see, we have a list of the sponsors. Again, we're showing Great Big Fish. We put in videos on this site, what they're fishing for, so the SEO, search engine optimization, works well. We talk a little about the boat. We have that 300 words on the home page so that Google will index this. We have book a trip buttons, and again, it's a very, very robust home page that again, Google really likes. If I go in this case to his corporate page, then I can find out information about retreats that he can hold, team building, and then there's client appreciation. If I go to the team building page here, it will take me to a page that talks about how to use the Never Enough charters for team building. And it's really interesting how we're getting this site now ranked not only for charters, but we're getting it ranked corporately. And so if I scroll down again, it's taking a little bit because we're recording this. There's the team building. It's a great investment in people. And we wordsmithed all of this for Never Enough so that they could focus their efforts on more corporate type individuals coming in. This site is about 26 pages. Most of the sites that I'm showing you have a number of pages on them. The reason for that is we focus each page in on another or a different keyword so we can get a wide footprint on the internet for people looking for what you do. This is a guy in Texas that we just started working with, and this is a little different. We put a video behind the home page instead of like a slider, and you'll see this kick in here in just a second. And it's just a rotation of photos and information that's coming up about Captain Kirk. He is really the world's best alligator gar guide. He's been on River Monsters, and he has all these world records and that sort of thing. And this video is kind of playing behind it here, creating a lot of motion as we go through. Again, we have this corporate sponsors, a little about Captain Kirk, a link to River Monsters, a map of the Trinity River where he fishes. We have a local weather. A lot of people want to know the weather before they come and fish with him. And then we have turbidity charts, river flows, and that sort of thing. In here we have also a lodge page. He runs a small lodge. It doesn't sound like it's as elegant as yours is, but it's a lodge nonetheless, and so he has a lot of corporate people that will come in and rent his lodge from him. I'm going to it real quick. And again, this is it's a nice place that he provides, nice and clean, but again, it's probably not as well appointed as yours, but you can see what we've done. We've put in a gallery here that'll come over the top of this picture of kind of a backwater of the Trinity River, and then as we scroll down, it's a little about the lodge. We have a little bit of fun with the fishermen, whether they want to have this graphic down here or not. You may or may not know, but bananas, some people think, are bad luck to have in a boat. And so we allow our guides to either be a banana-free zone or a banana-friendly zone if they want that graphic. And it's been kind of fun to work with. We're just getting started with this site for Captain Kirk. Been working with him just a few months now, but it's working out pretty well. Here's another site that we did, and this is for a river on the Oregon-Idaho border. It's called the Owyhee Fly Fisher, or Owyhee River Fly Fisher, and Dan Bofumkamp is the guide. He's actually retiring here in the coming years, or in the coming year. But he runs, much like you, kind of an upscale clientele. He has a lot of people that will come in and fly into Boise just to fish with him, and he provides them with an incredible experience of not only catching these nice brown trout, but also he brings in elegant lunches and gourmet food to the riverbanks. It's really quite an experience, is my understanding. Again, he has a couple different guides that work for him. So if I come down here to Michael, and I'll bring up Michael's page. Again, it takes just a second because we're recording. There's Michael and information about Michael. And then we've got Michael's availability calendar, when he's booked and when days are available, so people can then go in and request a certain date. One of the things that we put on every page is a book a trip function. If I can click on that, and then I'll see a contact form. Again, we bring up the calendar, and then we have the rates down here. And I missed the form up here. There we go. I'm going back and forth. Sorry, there's the form right in the middle there. And they can put in their name, their phone number, when they want to fish, what guide they want to fish with, give us comments on it. He even has it set up that they can go to PayPal and make a deposit directly off of this page also. And so again, it's a different feel to the site. This one is very clean. We don't have a lot of backgrounds on it. Dan wanted it just to have a real clean appearance, and so that's why we've done it. when we're developing out a site, I'll show you this one. You may or may not know the name. This is a site that we're doing for Bill McGuire. Bill McGuire is the 2016 national and world sporting clays champion. He shoots all over the world, and Bill has hired us to do a site for him. And so we're in the midst of laying this out in what we call wireframing it. This is how a site looks when we start, and then we start grabbing photos and graphics and start playing with it. And so anyway, this is kind of how a site looks in its first week or so, and we get our clients to give us interaction and give us feels for colors and maybe other types of textures on the site to really give it the feel that they want. And finally, one of the things I wanted to mention to you, well, before we leave the internet here, is that one of the things that's available to you that you're not taking advantage of, or I'm not seeing you take advantage of, is something called Google Business. And Google Business is a way to get a lot more traffic to your site using the Google Maps function within the search engines. And the nice thing about it, it's free to set up. It doesn't cost anything at all. It just takes a little bit of time and knowledge to do that. And in my opinion, by setting this up correctly, and because you are statically based there at your lodge in Arkansas, this will generate quite a bit of traffic for us just by setting this up. And so I've made that as part of the proposal. So I'm going to go back to the proposal here real quick and just kind of go through it with you. Let me grab it. So here's the proposal. You may have already looked at it or not. The package includes the web design, web contents, and graphics. We do ask that you provide us with as much graphics and logos and photos that you want or have available so that we can place them appropriately within the site. As I mentioned to you, we also do a mobile application on both Apple and Android. We do a social integration with Facebook and, as we talked about, Google Business. I can also hook it into Twitter and Instagram and that sort of thing. That's not a big deal. We set up your Google Business account for you since you haven't done that. We set up a review system within Google where your clients can go in and give you a review. We set up and optimize up to 10 targeted keywords off of that list. Although we only target 10, we're pretty sure you're going to get rankings on the majority of those, after a period of time. Of working with the site and that sort of thing. Again, this is a long-term play. It's not short-term. I don't go out there and sell magic and saying I'm going to get you on the first page of Google within 2 weeks. People that do that are kind of blowing smoke, and it's really something that people can't do ethically. And if they can do it, then 2 weeks later when Google finds out what they've done, then they penalize you, the business owner, for that. I'll set up 4 collage videos within the website for you. We set up the YouTube channel itself. If you already have one, we'll go in and modify it and upgrade it so it truly looks like a business channel. And then we provide you with 12 months worth of hosting. The expected delivery time on the site would be anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks. The social and the video setup will take another week after that. That's not 4 weeks on top of the 3. That would be delivered in the 4th week. And then roughly in the 5th week, we deliver the mobile application to you. That can come a little bit sooner, but we have to wait on Apple to approve what we've done before we can release that. And as I mentioned, the investment for all of this is $1,500. After that, after the first year, then we charge $480 for the hosting and service and the updating of the sites and that sort of thing. And that includes the mobile side. Everything is included in there, so you're not, you don't have to worry about us saying, oh yeah, I forgot to mention there's another $500 charge. You won't get that from us. It's all inclusive. The proposed pages on the website that I suggest we set up is a home page, one called the About Us page that just talks about who you are and who is Jim Watson Outdoors. We have a page on the lodge and your facilities, a guide page, maybe one on you and one on your hired guide if that's appropriate. The hunting area in which you hunt. If you have blinds and different places in the area where you hunt, we may or may not want to put a map there, but we might want to describe the different areas that you have available, whether you're shooting over water. Maybe you're also have individual, well, I forget what they call them. I used to call them coffin vine blinds for shooting geese and that sort of thing. We might want to talk about that. We'll put in a duck species page listing the different species and pictures of the ducks that you shoot in your particular area. A goose species page, which would then include the different types of geese that you shoot also. A weather page, hunting reports that we can go in or you can go in and update and add hunting reports as they become available or appropriate to add. Have a photo and video gallery. Sponsors and links. If you have pro staff agreements or are sponsored, we of course want to acknowledge those people on the site. A rates page where we can put in the different rates of different daily trips or weekly trips. We can even put in a club page for the club that you've got going on. Book a trip page with a contact form that not only gets emailed to you, but it also gets text messaged to you, so you can respond quickly and appropriately. And then a contact page. Other pages that may or may not be appropriate would be an Arkansas Department of Fish and Wildlife page where we can have people go online, buy their licenses, look at the different synopsises and that sort of thing. Maybe a what to expect page. When you come, here's a list of the things that you need to bring, your medications, your waders, your appropriate ammunition and guns, and then maybe what you provide. And then one of the things that seems to be real popular right now is an example itinerary where people can go in and say, okay, if I'm going to book a 5-day trip, what does my trip look like? And so we can put in like a basic itinerary of that. So anyway, forgive me for being so verbose, but I thought it might be appropriate. I think you'd be real impressed with what we can do, and I'd knock it out of the park for you, my friend, when it comes to putting up a site that would be, you'd be proud to show, and I think it'd be a real workhorse for you also by taking the approach of focusing in on these keywords and really get specific on what that site's going to do for you. It's going to be something that you can keep for a long, long time. We develop it under the foundation of WordPress, and so WordPress is being used for almost 70% of all websites being developed nowadays. So the advantage to you is, heaven forbid anything ever happens to myself and my team, probably down the street there's someone that could take the site over. What the advantage of dealing with us is we understand your industry. We've got quite a Rolodex ourselves, and I actually end up booking a lot of trips for people that are looking to do specific things just because I talk hunting and fishing all day long. And then the other thing is you don't have to teach me what the difference is between a widgeon and a teal and what's a 3.5-inch load versus 2 3/4. And as I mentioned to you, I grew up hunting and fishing as a kid, and that's my passion. And I think it shows in our sites, and it also shows in how quickly we can get things developed because you don't have to teach us your business. So anyway, looking forward to taking the next step with you. Thanks, Jim.